There could be snakes anywhere in here. Brian! There's a snake.
The island of Ilha da Queimada Grande may be found 93 miles, 150 kilometers, off the coast of Sao Paulo in Brazil. The island is infamous for its dangerous and deadly reputation and is often referred to as Snake Island, as it is the natural habitat for some of the most dangerous and critically endangered snake species in the world. Researchers estimate that there are anywhere from 1 to 5 snakes per square meter on the island. Golden lanceheads are also very abundant on Ilha da Queimada Grande, with an estimated 4,000 vipers crawling on its land. Their poison is so potent that it can cause the human flesh to liquefy when it comes into contact with it. When traveling through Brazil, it is strongly advised by the local authorities that you do not make any stops in the area around the island. It is also a very difficult island to get to, which, aside from it being infested with deadly vipers, is another reason it is uninhabited. Because there are so many poisonous snakes on the island, it is also referred to as the Island of Death, otherwise known as the deadliest place on Earth. Ilha da Queimada Grande is an area that is well known for having a diverse assortment of plant life to offer. As the result of years of deforestation, certain areas of the island are covered with lush jungles, while others are made up entirely of rocky outcrops. Because of the widespread deforestation that occurred on the island, it was given the name Queimada, which literally means burnt in Portuguese. There are a variety of legends that claim pirates sent poisonous snakes to the island so that they could safeguard their valuable wealth from being stolen by other people. However, the truth is much different from what was presented. Around 10,900 years ago, people theorized that there had been a significant increase in the level of the ocean. Because of this, the island was cut off from the rest of the world. After that time, there is no evidence that any people lived on the island. As a consequence of there being no meddling from human beings, the natural population growth of the snakes began to take place. A glance in the direction of the lighthouse. The lighthouse that is now located on Snake Island has been upgraded to run automatically, and the Brazilian Navy is in charge of managing it. However, until the 1920s, it was commonly thought that a single individual and his whole family were responsible for operating the lighthouse. They chose to remain on the island in order to discourage anybody from going ashore, and would stop them if they did. If you ask some of the locals, they will claim that one night several snakes broke into the lighthouse through a window and attacked the man, as well as his wife and 3 children. They all died as a result of being bitten by the snakes. Why Snake Island is the deadliest place on Earth. On Ilha da Queimada Grande, there are no animals that live on the ground that the snakes can hunt, which presents a significant obstacle for them. In the past, in order to satisfy their hunger, snakes would climb trees and high outcrops in search of migrating birds, which they would then hunt down. On Snake Island, you won't only find snakes. There are also other endangered species living there. There are around 41 different species of birds, as shown by national records. The Chilean Elenia and the southern house wren are the primary sources of nutrition for the golden lancehead. It was originally believed that there were around 430,000 snakes living on the island. However, there has been a significant drop in the number as time has passed.
Just in the 5-year cycle that I've been studying, I can see changes on this island, and it's really depressing.
There are an estimated 2,000 to 4,000 snakes living within the regions of the island's jungle. As time has progressed, the golden lancehead vipers that inhabit the island have become more dangerous due to their increased strength and toxicity. It is believed that the poison they produce is around 3 to 5 times more potent than the venom produced by snakes that are native to the mainland. Studies have shown that the venom of these snakes has the potential to cause the death of humans and even cause their flesh to liquefy upon contact. The venom of the snake is also capable of causing a hemorrhage in the brain, as well as internal bleeding and failure of the kidneys. The golden lancehead snake is responsible for almost 90% of all snake bites that occur in Brazil. People who are bitten by even just one of these deadly snakes have a 7% chance of passing away within the hour after the bite. In point of fact, access to the lighthouse still remains closed to the public for this very reason. Another story that circulates about Snake Island is that of a fisherman who had trespassed on the island without realizing it in order to gather bananas. As was to be anticipated, he suffered a bite from a poisonous snake. It is unknown how he got back to the boat, but he did. However, the poison of the snake proved to be too much for him, and he passed away swiftly. After some time had passed, his lifeless body was discovered on the deck of the boat, where it was surrounded by a pool of blood. Should you visit Snake Island? Because of the risk, the government of Brazil maintains stringent supervision over who is allowed to visit Ilha da Queimada Grande. There is such a high concentration of snakes on the island that some estimates indicate there is one snake for every square meter in certain locations. The victim of a snake bite still has a 3% probability of passing away even after receiving treatment for the bite from the golden lancehead, which carries a 7% danger of mortality for the victim. The venom of this snake has the potential to induce renal failure, necrosis of muscle tissue, bleeding in the brain, and bleeding in the intestines. It is true that the Brazilian Navy visits the island on an annual basis in order to do maintenance on the lighthouse, which has been operated by a computer system since the 1920s. The island is also an essential laboratory for biologists and researchers who must get special authorization in order to access the island in order to study the golden lanceheads. The lancehead snake, a close relative of the golden lancehead, is responsible for 90% of all snake bites that occur in Brazil. Both of these species belong to the genus Bothrops. Biologists have high hopes that if they can improve their knowledge of the golden lancehead and its evolutionary history, they will be able to improve their knowledge of the Bothrops genus as a whole and more effectively cure the countless snake-related injuries that take place all throughout Brazil. There is a school of thought among scientists that suggests that snake venom could have been used in the pharmaceutical industry. In an interview with Vice, a Brazilian scientist named Marcelo Duarte discussed the golden lancehead possibility for use in the medical field. He said, "We are just scratching the surface of this universe of possibilities of venoms," explaining that the venom of the golden lancehead has already shown promise in helping with heart disease, circulation, and blood clots. There have also been anti-cancer properties from different types of snake venom that have been extracted in recent studies. Wildlife traffickers, sometimes known as biopirates, have also been known to visit Ilha da Queimada Grande as a result of the demand for wildlife products from the underground market that comes from scientists and animal collectors. They catch the snakes and sell them by unofficial means. A single golden lancehead may fetch anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 on the black market. According to some estimates, the population of the island has decreased by about half in the space of 15 years as a direct result of habitat degradation caused by the removal of vegetation on the island by the Brazilian military, as well as sickness. On the current version of the Red List, maintained by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, the snake is classified as being in a state of extreme endangerment. It's possible that this will make Snake Island marginally less intimidating for humans, but for the snakes, it won't make much difference at all. Would you ever want to visit Snake Island? What would happen if you were bitten? Would you pass out from the pain? Perhaps that's a question for the next Mind Marvel.